everyone, this is Yaneli. So I am going to be giving you this presentation to help you out on your 4-3 assignment. As you go through it, there are a couple points that I want you to remember as just things that I've seen in previous terms that students do well in, things that they struggle in. I want to be able to give you that help here to make sure you get the best possible results with this assignment. I will be uploading this presentation as a PDF file within the announcements of this video too. So let's get started. With this assignment, the important thing to remember is that though it is very short, you should look over the prompt and the rubric very carefully. Now, you should always look over rubrics, right, and prompts carefully. But in this particular assignment, what I see some students struggle in is that they don't meet the length or they write too much. And this is one of those assignments where we'll talk about where length is important to the specific assignment. So let's get started. Let's go over the prompt first. As you're reading through the prompt, here are the main things to remember. Number one, make sure you're summarizing the article you've been working with this term. So that's either going to be Tan's article, Sedaris's article, or Braxman's article that I've linked here as well. Please make sure that you're working on that, because when you go and write the summary, it's actually going to help you so you can include it in your final essay. In addition to that, the prompt says to write in 3 to 4 sentences, and we'll talk about that in the next slide. And please make sure you include a single in-text citation at the end of your summary, which we will also talk about in some of the slides further on. So let's start with talking about each of the elements on the rubric. There's only 3 of them. I'm going to go back here really quick to show you. So as you can see, it's a summary length, author's ideas, and articulation of response. Let me go back. Okay, so with summary length, it is important that you keep within the 3 to 4 sentence length. This is one of those assignments where if you write more, you're actually going to do worse. You're not going to score that well on the rubric. It is important that you learn how to discuss the overview of a given article in 3 to 4 sentences and as short as possible. Now, I'm not saying to have your sentences not be well thought out or very short. That's not what I'm saying. You just need to learn how to write the overview of an article in a short amount or in a short length of writing. And this is a good place to start to getting to practice the summarizing of your article. So when you go through, just remember, less is more for this assignment. It doesn't mean that you're going to have sentences that are not well thought out, but it does mean that you're going to meet that requirement. On my slide, I've included a student example that you can go through and read later on the PDF file. And this particular student here wrote an excellent summary. It has 3 sentences. Each of the sentences are well thought out. And they did score proficient on this element of the rubric. One of the big points to remember is if you do write your 3 to 4 sentences, you will get proficient. But if you write more than that, or if you write less, you will score a 0. As the rubric here shows, you're either going to get proficient or not evident. So just keep that in mind. I have had students who have gone through and summarized their article in 2 pages of multiple sentences, and they have scored a 0 on this element on the rubric. So you don't want to do that, especially when the value of the length is at 35 points there. All right, so let's move on to the second element of the rubric, which is the author's ideas. I won't actually go through and explain to you how to summarize here in detail because Module 4 will go through that very well. So in general, an overview or a summary is just answering who, what, when, where, why, how of the article as you see fit and as you see as it is important. So what I do want to mention on here that I want you to include is the article's title and the author who wrote it. And I'm going to read the beginning of this student example here really quick to show you what I mean. So here the student says, in Lacey M. Johnson's article, The Will of the Water, Scenes from Hurricane Harvey, she explores and then she keeps going. So please make sure to include your summary that has a title of the article, and that also has the author's full name included within your summary. Okay, and that is important because it gives the reader context of what it is you're analyzing it. Another point to remember is do not add any quotes to your summary, because as you can tell on this rubric here, it says to clearly reference the author's idea using your own words. So you won't need to use any quotes, and you do not need to use any quotes in the summary as you're writing an overview. So if you do start using some ideas, or not ideas, I'm sorry. If you start using some ideas but borrow some phrasing from the source, then you're going to score a needs improvement. And if your summary is filled with nothing but summary in terms of it being, I'm sorry, if it's filled with nothing but quotes, then you're going to score a 0 as in not evident because you borrowed the exact phrasing from the author. So take a look at the student example, see how they did, and that way you can go through and write your summary in a similar fashion. So on to the last point of the rubric. This is the articulation of response. Now, it is important to make sure that you check for your grammar, your spelling, syntax, or organization. But my key point here is going to be make sure you include your in-text citation. I have had students who forget it. And as you go through Module 4, you will be learning about in-text citations, especially as you're understanding how MLA and APA works, and that's the focus, a big focus of Module 4. You will need to format your in-text citation either in MLA style or APA style. So, double check the APA and MLA handbook, that which, by the way, both are included within the module, to help you out with that. And you can see here a student example has an in-text citation, but remember, it's got to be either an MLA or APA style. So whichever one you chose that fits best to your degree, then make sure it's formatted in that manner. So on a last note, in talking about MLA or APA, I have had some students ask me if they should go through and format their paper in MLA or APA now. And I really encourage it, to be honest with you, because it's going to help you practice, since eventually when you write your essay, you will need to format it in MLA or APA style. And it's good to practice that. I'll start giving you guidance and letting you know, oh, this is how you should format it. I'm not going to deduct points if your formatting is incorrect, because you're just learning how to use your particular chosen style. So don't worry about that. What you should worry about is at least getting the minimum requirements within the rubric, which is Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, and 1-inch margins. So if you do want to use APA or MLA with this assignment, I encourage it. But if you just feel comfortable in using the format that I've been providing for since the beginning of the term, go ahead and use that. On a last point there, I will include an APA and MLA template for you in the announcements for this video, and then you'll be able to see there how each of them is formatted. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And just so you know, academic support tutors are also there to help 24/7, and they're a great resource if you want to check your grammar or formatting, because they will definitely help you out with that as well. All right, that's pretty much it. I look forward to reading your summaries.